Hello! This is an art video. It's a miracle. I filmed this video back in November, so it's taken me a while to edit it, but I finally got another art video and I've made a mental note to make a lot more. So there'll be pottery and clothing and jewellery and other crafts. I've got 2 videos planned that are crafty with key. I just haven't been able to film them just yet, but they'll be coming. So in this video I will be making a ring. I made this ring the other day. It's a feather and it's silver with a rose gold. So my design was initially with rose gold and silver, but then I changed it to just silver. I kind of want rose gold in this wrong. I do need to do the settings for the stone. So this is a 3mm black diamond. So I could do a bezel setting, which is what these are. It's a bezel setting. So the plan is to have 2 settings, 2 stones, and I'm using tubing to make bezel settings. I'm using a mitre jig to cut the tubing to size, and then using it to make the ends flush and nice and smooth. I also use the mitre jig to hold the settings so that I can use a saw and then a file to cut grooves for the prongs. Now I'm using a stone setting burr to cut the seat for the stone. Test fitting the stone. And then going through the whole process again for the second setting. So one setting is made of rose gold tubing and then the other is made of sterling silver tubing. I might have forgotten that I was recording this and I've already cut the bands. So from this rose gold and white gold, half and half rose gold and white gold, and I'm going to solder that together like that. I used the mitre jig again, this thing. I fed the gold through and then I sawed it off, and then I used a file to get really nice flat ends. I'm using white gold solder to solder together the white gold and the rose gold bands. The ring's going to overlap and I want the sides to flare out, so I'm using both the flat end and the ball peen end of the planishing hammer to flatten the metal out. When you work precious metal, like hitting it with a hammer, it hardens it, and in order to keep shaping the metal you need to soften it again, and to do that you use fire. The process is called annealing, and you basically use fire to heat the metal up until it reaches a cherry red colour. If you go beyond that you'll start to melt it. And then the metal is soft again and you can continue either hammering it or forming it in whatever shape you want. I'm using ring gauges to decide what size ring I want to make, and then using that to mark on my mandrel where I want to form the ring. Because the gold is so soft now from annealing it, I can basically shape most of it by hand, and then I'll use a hammer to define the shape better, and also hammering it will then harden it into the shape that I've just made. I don't like split rings because my hair gets caught in them, so I need to align these perfectly and solder them together. I'm using rose gold solder to join together the 2 flared ends. I put rose gold solder in this join. I've got to be very careful that I don't heat this join, otherwise the ring will come apart. So I've got to try and solder that side without heating that side. While soldering together the two flared ends, I want to protect the original join, and I can't remember what it's called, but I've used this cream that is heat resistant, so you put it on a join or a clasp, whatever you don't want to get heated, and it protects it from the fire. Now I'm using silver solder to attach the collets because again I don't want to melt previous solder joins, and the silver solder melts at a lower temperature than the rose gold and the white gold solders. But I'm also putting the collets on in the wrong positions. I wanted the silver collet to sit on the rose gold side and the rose gold collet to sit on the white gold side, so that you've got red over white. I do fix this before I actually solder it down. You can see I now have them on the correct side. A little bit of buffing, a little bit of texturizing. I'm using a dapping punch and a brass hammer to add texture all the way around the band. And here's me completely deciding to change what I'm making. I had a bit of a change of plan and I'm no longer using the diamonds. I'm using sapphires and rubies, and I was deciding between a light sapphire and a dark sapphire, but I've just tried a ruby in there and I don't know what you can see, but that looks so pretty. If you happen to see any of these suddenly disappear off the edge of the bench, please don't tell me because I don't want to have to try and find a sapphire or a ruby somewhere in this floor. I need a tray really for these. Okay, that one looks promising. Which one was it? That one's too big. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, I've decided that's what that's going to be. This is completely not the ring that I was intending to make today, but that's really pretty. I like that. It does look nice, but I think as this is not going to be my ring, this ring is going to be up for sale because it didn't become what I wanted to wear myself, so I'm going to be selling this one, and I think with a ruby it looks better. So I'll save the black diamond for another attempt at the ring for myself. This is a tool I made myself. It's a bezel pusher, so it pushes the claws and the bezels over and wraps them around the stone. And I forged this myself and I turned the handle myself. And I don't know what all this white is about. So this is not the ring I set out to make. It's completely different. I didn't really have a clear image in my head of what it was going to look like, and I think that was my downfall. So next time I will plan it out properly. And it is still really pretty. The sapphire and the ruby together look really, really pretty. So if you'd like to have a proper look at it, it will be on my website for sale. That's the wrong ring. I took off my ring to do this. I have to excuse my filthy hands. This is just what happens. This has taken me about 3.5 hours. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like it if you did, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you in the next one.